Well, good morning. How's everybody doing today? It's great to be back in Charlotte County. We've got an all-star cast here today, including our Florida Department of Veterans Affairs Executive Director, General James Hammer Hartzell. Former Department of Veterans Affairs Executive Director and current Florida State Senator Danny Burgess, as well as Danny's colleagues in the Senate, Jay Collins and Keith Trunau. We also have Farland, Oliver, Nix, and Albert, who are joining us here today, and I want to thank them for being here. So today marks 81 years where we had a merry band of brothers storming the beaches of Normandy, and their task was a monumental one, to liberate Europe and ultimately to be able to preserve freedom here and throughout the world. They were not favored to necessarily be successful in that mission. They suffered an enormous number of casualties on that June 6th day, but ultimately they and eventually prevailed in winning a decisive victory, and not just the European theater, but of course the Asian theater as well. We don't have very many folks who were on that mission that are with us anymore. I mean, I think 81 years, you can do the math. You're basically down to a lot of people who are lying about their age to be able to get into the service at the time. But I think because of that, and we've seen that just over the course of me being governor, as we've seen those older generations pass away, we have a responsibility to keep the memory of what they did alive. And that's one of the reasons why we're so strong on ensuring that we have really robust civics education in our schools. And we want people to know what it means to be an American. We want them to understand the founding principles of this country, but we also want to stress that those things that we hold so dear, those don't run on autopilot. Freedom is not free. It needs to be fought for, and it needs to be preserved. And there are certain flashpoints in our country's history, and really all of human history, but in American history, where that freedom was really on the line in a big way. And June 6, 81 years ago, was one of those days. I know there was an enormous amount of sacrifice that went in far in terms of what the American people sacrificed in that conflict, but I think we're all of an agreement that we're better off for their great heroic sacrifices. And so we remember that today, 81 years later, and it's fitting that as we remember what they did there, that we also can be here today to sign legislation that shows our commitment to the people who live in our state who did wear the uniform. And it comes in a variety of ways. We still have some World War II vets. We've got a lot of Vietnam vets, and then, like me, we've got a lot of post 9/11 vets who served during that crazy time. And Florida is and will remain the #1 state for veterans in the entire country. So we've got some folks here that I want to recognize at the outset. We have Sergeant Hugo Riva. He's about to turn 105 years old. He served... He's going to be 105 years old. He served as a flight engineer and gunner on a B-17 bomber in the Keep it up, whatever you're doing, keep it going. We thank you for your service. We also have First Sergeant Raymond Melendez, 96-year-old veteran. Of Vietnam. We're also joined by Charlie. And then I saw, is James O'Leary here? He's over there. Okay, and I know we have on Veterans Day, and they say this and that, and a lot of times it's just platitudes that are empty and they're not backed up by anything. And I'm somebody who speaks a lot just in the job I do, and so I do believe that words can be meaningful, but ultimately it's deeds that are the most powerful. You can say that you support veterans, but what are you actually doing to put your money where your mouth is? What are your actions telling us about whether you're getting the job done? And I'm proud to say that Florida's home to roughly 1.5 million veterans. That's the third most of any state in the nation. Now, we're the third largest in population, kind of a distant third. I mean, California and Texas have way more people than we do, but I would say, and I think Hammer would agree, we punch above our weight class in terms of the percentage of veterans when you look at it this way. And I can just tell you, as a Navy guy, we've got a lot of Navy installations in Florida. When you get stationed in Florida, it's like military, you 2 years here, 3 years there, year and a half here, you bounce around, right? You don't just go serve in one duty station for 20 years, and so people go around. And in Navy, there's certain places that you go. If you're in aviation, a lot of times Pensacola will be a spot that you go to. We have an air station in Jacksonville, Port and Port. There's all these different things, but then you've got Norfolk, Virginia. It's got a huge Navy footprint. San Diego, Washington State. There's all these different things. But chances are you come through Florida at one point or another when you're in the Navy, and what I know people will do is once they're able to establish that Florida residency, they do not give it up. And so they buy a home. The thing is, you buy a home, that's your home of record. So then if they do transfer you from, say, Mayport to San Diego, you don't have to pay California state tax. They tax you on your home. So we're proud of that. We know people have enjoyed being able to live and thrive in the state of Florida as a veteran. Over the past few years, we've signed legislation that supports pretty much every aspect of the life of military veterans. We've increased access to educational opportunities post-deployment. We've supported military families and their children, including with education options in the K-12 system. We've expanded mental health resources for veterans returning from overseas deployments. We've created new solutions for veterans to obtain workforce training and employment. Last year, we signed over a dozen veteran-related bills, which are already having positive impacts on our communities across the state. Our budget last year had nearly $100 million to support various initiatives that help Florida's veterans. And this is everything from workforce preparedness to mental health, helping alleviate and eradicate homelessness amongst veterans, education, medical, legal services, you name it. We're in the game on all of those. Now, that number included almost $20 million allocated to Florida DVA that went to, among other things, dental care for low-income veterans, employment and training services programs, and building a new state veterans nursing home in Collier County, further south from here, as well as doing upgrades on additional veterans homes across the state. Now, this year, my budget, so we're in the first week of June, and the fiscal year ends at the end of this month, and the legislature still has not produced a budget. Now, this was due over a month ago, and I know some of these legislators here, if it was up to them, this would have been done a long time ago, but the reality is these things do what they do. So we'll see what ends up happening as that process unfolds, but we had an additional $15.3 million in our recommendations at the beginning of the year to support capital improvements for our veterans state nursing homes, as well as $1 million to provide for a veterans dental care grant program. And I would like to see the legislature show their support for veterans by including that in the budget that they're working on. And we think something's going to happen, but, well, one way or another something will happen. I can guarantee you that. So we also, though, we have Florida DVA, which is great, but it's a relatively small footprint. It's nothing compared to like the U.S. VA, which honestly, I mean, that's too big of a bureaucracy, and I don't think it always serves the veterans well. And most veterans think about going to U.S. VA before they think about state, but nevertheless, so that serves an important function. But we have other agencies that interact with the general public, but also have specific veteran-focused missions. So our Department of Commerce administers several programs to support veterans as they transition to new careers. veteran state grant programs, state small business credit initiatives, and Paychecks for Patriots, which connects veterans with hundreds of potential employers through a series of fairs held throughout the state. Our Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation has programs designed to help active duty military members, veterans, and spouses with the licensing process. You know, you can have a family that gets sent from Bremerton, Washington to Mayport, Florida, and the spouse may have credentials and be licensed in Washington State. You have to go through this big burden. We've streamlined that to be able to let them do. And that's one of the things we've done. We've recognized that it's not just the member who's ultimately serving our country. It is the spouse who has to serve, because if the member's deployed, the spouse is there, a lot of times with children, having to watch the kids, and it's not easy on family members. And so we've really stood up and supported our military spouse veterans, and even have spouses that are in veterans nursing homes throughout the state of Florida. Florida Department of Education administers programs to support veterans as they transition to new careers or seek additional education opportunities. We did a military veteran certificate pathway because, you know, people were talking about a teacher shortage, and you know, it's interesting. They'll do like, Florida has shortage, and I'll be like, okay, what are the numbers? And then I'll look, and it's like there's like 40 states that have more shortage than us, and yet they focus on us. But that's just par for the course. So we said, okay, well, we're going to do things. And part of it is we work with the legislature to increase teacher salaries. We've done a whole host of things. But this veterans program helps veterans enter the teaching profession. They get a 5-year temporary teaching certificate as they are working towards earning their degree. And I think some people say, oh, well, why would a veteran want to be? I think veterans offer a lot of great leadership abilities. I think they offer role model for these kids. I think they have a lot to offer in the classroom. So if they're willing to do that, we want to be a big partner for that. And they really do bring a unique perspective. We also work with colleges to implement credit or clock hour from experience equivalency list. So what we want to do is guarantee service members receive college credit for any military courses or training that they have already completed. And that helps them obtain degrees at our state colleges, which we're really, really happy about. On top of all these programs, I called this year for a $2 million investment to help our veterans build real market-ready skills, connect employers with a highly trained employment pipeline of veterans, and support veterans who want to start and grow small businesses. And we're going to continue to do that. Maybe one of the most promising initiatives that we have is expanding the mission of Hope Florida through the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs. And this started about a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, when we're doing Hope Florida, which was spearheaded by our First Lady and my wife, Casey. You're not looking to spend any money. What you're looking to do is repurpose the people who work in state government to, instead of trying to just get people on public benefits, to utilize all the resources in the community that will actually be able to lift people up. So since Hope Florida has been up, they've transitioned over 30,000 people of government assistance and saved the taxpayers over $100 million. And that's by enlisting the faith-based community, enlisting charities, enlisting businesses, and even individual volunteers that can be very, very meaningful. So we're proud of the fact that as of this March, the Hope Florida initiative with the Department of Veterans Affairs has served more than 1,000 Florida veterans and their families. That's 1,000 veterans who have received guidance through community-based nonprofits, churches, rather than increasing reliance upon the government. That's the type of thinking that we need. If we can get people with support in the community exterior to government, that has a much better chance of lifting them up, not only saving taxpayers money, but you're actually putting people on a pathway to self-sufficiency and ultimately to big-time success. So we're proud of all that we've done to focus on veterans issues. There's no better state to be a veteran in. We easily just sit back and rest on our laurels and not do any more, but that's just not how we roll in Florida. So I'm proud to be here today signing additional legislation that shows our commitment to our veterans in the free state of Florida is second to none. First, I'm going to sign House Bill 797, which removes government red tape to help veterans and their spouses across the long-term access the long-term care that they've earned through service through our country. This legislation allows qualifying skilled nursing facilities, nonprofit retirement campuses to designate specific beds for veterans and their spouses without having to navigate through the burdensome Certificate of Need process. This empowers FDVA to approve these designations as long as these facilities are meeting the high standards for care and admission. Bill also allows veteran-focused nursing homes under shared ownership to consolidate or transfer beds between facilities as long as they're within 100 miles of each other. Again, this is allowed without having to seek government permission or navigate time-consuming red tape. I'm also signing Senate Bill 116, a comprehensive overhaul of how Florida supports its veterans, rooted in our deep respect for those who have put on the uniform. It requires our Department of Veterans Affairs to audit its own outreach in order to recommend real, actionable ways to ensure our veterans understand the services to which they're entitled. And I remember when I was leaving the Navy, you know, the USVA could give you some packet. And look, I didn't need anything. I was fine. I had a but like I didn't understand any of it. It's like massive bureaucracy, massive red tape, and you know, you put money into this stuff, but it just paralyzes it, and it's ineffective. And so we don't want our Florida DVA to fall into that, and this is really putting the onus to make sure that we transcend that. The bill mandates proactive engagement with transitioning service members. We don't want to wait for bureaucracy to catch up before offering a helping hand. It expands our veteran suicide prevention training program, and it directs FDVA to deliver a full statewide plan for building adult health care centers to the legislature later this year. Finally, I'm signing Senate Bill 910, which cracks down on bad faith actors who seek to exploit veterans navigating the often complicated benefits process. I mean, think about it, how crazy this is. Veterans, to get U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs benefits, a lot of times they got to hire people to be able to do. Like, you hire some attorney, then you get it, and you got to give them a cut of it, and it's just like, that's not right, and some people are taken advantage of. So this legislation creates strong new protections for veterans by placing clear limits on unaccredited individuals who charge a particular price to help with VA claims. Under this bill, these providers can only be paid if they secure a real increase on benefits for the veteran. And even that, they're capped at 4 times the monthly increases or $12,500, whichever is lower. That's going to be a disincentive for some of these folks, some of these sharks, to try to take advantage of our veterans, and many of these veterans who get taken advantage of are in vulnerable situation. This also bans referral kickbacks and prohibits misleading guarantees. You know, you think about it, you want to help veterans. Our country sets up at the federal level some of this stuff, and granted, like Washington does, they tend to screw it up to a certain amount. Like, that's just the nature, big bureaucracy, all this stuff. But you know, I think people recognize that these veterans have earned this, and it's like, you know, a cottage industry develops where these people are trying to skim off the top and basically just extract money from the system. So I'm really glad that the legislature is doing this. We want to make sure that veterans are not exploited by some of these folks who don't care about the veterans. They're just trying to line their own pockets, and that's wrong, and that's not going to happen in the state of Florida. So thank you for what you've done to be able to put this on my desk for the members of the legislature that are here. We really appreciate it. We will sign the legislation momentarily, but first, you guys get to hear from a good cast of characters. So we're going to start with Hammer Hartzell.
All right, there's a lot of speakers today. The governor is the keynote speaker, obviously, and this Navy Lieutenant Commander is going to tell this Marine two-star short. Yes, sir. Got it. Okay. And he loves doing it, too. So, and I have great respect. This is a great day, an awesome day. We have Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, all here helping our veterans and their families and survivors in our great free state of Florida. The governor mentioned Hope Florida. I have navigators, patriot navigators, who help connect whoever that Florida citizen is to services and benefits without having to go through the bureaucracy of federal government and state government. We're doing it. And I love doing it. We're up to 1,200 veterans plus their families we've supported now. So what a great blessing. Look it up online, all right? Look at what Hope Florida is. We are helping veterans and their families. That's what you need to focus on. It's D-Day. This nursing home 2.5 years ago had its D-Day. Hurricane Ian's eye wall went right over the top of this building. Think about that, Category 5. We were the only place that had power in this part of Florida because we have our generators, and we were running. So at night, we literally were an island of hope, and people were coming here for water, support, and other services. Right? So that's what this is a D-Day. Within 4 days after that hurricane went right over this nursing home, First Lady Casey DeSantis came to this home and visited our veterans here. She literally got on a knee and was talking to a 100-year-old female veteran, Miss Anna, tears in both of their eyes, talking about their love for each other and what they're doing and the support she has. The First Lady's phenomenal, and I had such appreciation standing by her side when she was in this home 4 days after Ian tried to wipe us out. But we survived because we're Florida. The governor's right. He talked about politicians and platitudes and saying things. They just say things because they're supposed to read the script. He's a veteran. He went to combat in Iraq in the Navy, deployed overseas, so he's not talking platitudes. He understands what he's talking about when it comes to veterans and those of us who served. And he serves our Navy veteran population, #1 on the list, all right? And he's great. So what a blessing to be here. What we're doing for our veterans claims, Senator Collins, I can't wait for the governor to sign this bill. I mean, Florida leads. Let me tell you, other states are waiting for the federal government to fix this problem. They've been waiting for years. We said in Florida, we're not going to wait anymore. We're going to put a Florida statute in place, law and rules and regulations to make sure that those people are not taking advantage. When a veteran chooses to seek help outside of my free veterans claims examiners, our state veteran service officers, we do it for free. But if they want to choose somebody else, they can, because that's choice. I'm fine with veterans' choice. But we are going to protect that veteran and their family from sharks and people who are trying to take advantage of them. So, sir, thank you for doing it. My combat battle brother, we understand what this is about. What we're doing for veterans, Senator Burgess, Senator Trunau, this is amazing. I love working with our legislators. Navy veteran, Fiona McFarland's right here. Yep, appreciate you. So we got 2 Navy people. We're surrounded now. Okay, and that's how the Marine Corps serves. But I just appreciate so much everybody being here today. Hoorah. All right, Danny.
All right, it's time for an Army guy. It's great. Yeah! It's a great Army day, isn't it? But we love our naval brothers and sisters. And today I stand in solidarity by wearing a double-breasted blazer in honor of our Navy. I think my wife still wishes that the Army uniforms were as nice as the Navy uniforms, so I'll give it to you there, right? Right, Senator Collins?
Is that in recognition of Navy beating Army last night?
I'm just going to stop there. Governor holds the cards on that one. So what a great day to be back at the Douglas T. Jacobson Nursing Home. We are so proud of our state veterans nursing homes here in Florida. They are amazing. They're the standard-bearing homes for the country. General Hartzell, leading FDVA, has been nothing short of amazing and incredible in what he's doing and the energy he's bringing. Something I think that's important to mention is that what General Hartzell, under the leadership of Governor DeSantis and the commander's intent, have been able to accomplish over these last few years have not only put wins on the board for Florida and for Florida's veterans, but there's a national organization of state directors of Veterans Affairs called NASDVA. NASDVA meets a couple times a year. It's all 50 state veteran agency heads, and General Hartzell became the president of that association, elected by his peers across the nation because they saw what we're doing in our state and they all wanted to lead with us. They wanted to find out what we're doing in Florida and how every other state can replicate that. So when we say we're a model for the nation, we're not just talking about it like was said earlier. We really, truly mean it. We have built upon so many successes over the years that sometimes you look and you say, okay, what else can we do? There's always something more that we can do for our service members. The legislation that I was proud to carry this year, SB 116, I feel is a reflection of building upon things that we did in the very beginning when I had the honor to serve as the Director of Veterans Affairs under Governor DeSantis' leadership, which was we started a Forward March initiative where we went out across the entire state of Florida and we found where gaps in services lied, and we wanted to find how we could best plug them. What we're doing now in this legislation is we're building on that success by making sure our service members and their families know what's out there and what's available, because benefits are only as good as the awareness level and connecting those veterans to those services. So that's what we're doing. And that's what this builds upon. I'd be remiss if I didn't send, on behalf of Senator Trunau and Senator Collins and myself getting to represent the Florida Senate today, this is the home of Senate President, his district, home district of President Ben Albritton for the Florida Senate. He sends love. He sends his regrets for not being here. He is obviously knee-deep in incredibly important budget negotiations, Governor. But the bill that I was able to help sponsor is also a product of his love, support, and appreciation for our service members. He's been talking about doing big things for veterans for years, and this is a reflection of that. And so President Albritton wanted you to know that he wants Florida to lead the way, to continue to be the gold standard across the nation. I am just so truly honored to have been able to be a small part through the years of being in the legislature, in the House, and now the Senate, and also the governor having the trust and faith in me to serve as his Executive Director of Veterans Affairs. It'll truly be a defining moment and one of the greatest honors of my life. It was a hard job to leave, but I'm honored to be able to continue to carry and build upon this with our growing Veterans Caucus. Continues to get bigger every year in both the House and the Senate, and that's a reflection of veterans feeling like they have so much more to give, continuing to want to serve after they take that uniform off, and I'm just incredibly heartwarming to be able to be a part of that. Love every single one of you, especially on a special day like D-Day. Couldn't imagine a better way to recognize the service of so many who gave so much than to be here and to sign these 3 bills. Thank you so much, guys.
Good deal. Jay?
Well, it is an absolute privilege to be here today. I got to drop the mic just a little bit. I'm a stubby guy, so please deal with me. I am Senator Jay Collins. I represent Tampa, Florida. I'm going to give you the top line. I am a God-fearing, gun-loving, bacon-eating, one-legged retired Green Beret. So this population matters to me. Let me put it plainly. Each of us who served, we swore an oath. That oath meant something to me. What about you? Does that oath have an expiration date? No. It does not. It does not to me. It does not to you. It does not to our governor here in the state of Florida. We are going to do what we say. We will not remiss. We will not back down. If we are asked to lead, like we have on 910, the bill that we're here to sign that I ran this time, we're going to absolutely do that. Because here's what I know. If we're going to get in a scuffle, there is no better group to have your back than Florida's veterans. There is no better cause or reason to try to push what needs to be done than to take care of those who served our nation and took care of us. Under Governor DeSantis, you've heard many people say we have led the way. But you know why that is? Because when you put everything that you are and everything that you could be on the line for your nation, it means more to you than anything else, and you understand truly what's at stake. When each day could be your last, you live it like it matters, and you have an opportunity when we lead to make a difference for those who come before us and after us. Let their memories be taken. For many of our brothers and sisters, the real fight, it isn't when we are in the military. I don't know about you, but I love the people I served beside. When I left, man, it was tough. I missed them. When I transitioned out, I was concerned. Were my was I going to be the real square peg in a round hole? You heard the governor mention that our Veterans Affairs, frankly, just doesn't meet the needs. And that doesn't mean there aren't good people in there, but they have taken series of half measures in D.C. But you know what, we're not doing that? We're not doing that in Florida, because we will never take a half measure off the backs of our veterans. We will do everything we can to support them. Point blank, period, end of story. When we moved forward here and we transitioned, it was tough. You see, I had been blown up. I had lost a leg. I had requalified. I had done a lot of things around the world, and I wasn't sure how this was going to work. Luckily, we had programs in place as a Green Beret that helped us transition. If not, I will tell you what, I don't know how it was going to work. The VA process, as it is developed and built, is not set up for veteran success. It is not good enough. It is, in fact, a half measure. And I can tell you what we've done with 910, 910 is going to change that here in Florida, because it gives our veterans every single tool they can, but it also protects them from people who will take advantage of them. But here's the exciting part. This is also moving federally. This could become the law of the land. But why did that happen? Because under Governor DeSantis' leadership in the Senate and here in the House, we absolutely decided, you know what? If that puts us at odds with the attorneys, or people question why we're doing this, I'm perfectly fine. Let a lawsuit come. Let them say what they're going to say, but we will never back down, and we'll never not do the right thing by our veterans, because this bill does just that. And I'm going to bring this thing in for a landing, because I know we got to keep it short. There's many more speakers to come. But I want you to know that once you serve, you never forget the people who we fought beside, the people who we left behind. When we serve and when we make a difference in our community, we have an opportunity to represent a state of 24 million people. That's pretty incredible. It truly is. Our state is growing, people are moving here, and we want our veterans to come here. We will do everything we can. But I don't know about you, Danny, Keith, Danny, Keith, Danny. It's Team Danny over here. It's nice. Fiona. I wake up in the morning and I think about the people who we represent, the moms and dads, the veterans, those family stories. That hits pretty hard. It really does. That is why we do what we do. We represent the very best of what our nation can be and what our state is. And I'm here to tell you that no matter what goes on, we have your back. We appreciate what you've done. And on a day like June 6th, on D-Day, there is no better place to be than in a place like this with people who have done so much for our nation. So thank you. God bless our veterans. God bless the state of Florida, and may God continue to bless these United States.
Well, thank you all for being here, and I'm honored to be here myself. I'm Senator Keith Trunau from Lake County, Aim High Air Force. I just think it's a privilege to be in the leadership with Senator Collins and Burgess and Nix and representatives and Fiona. It's just a great honor that we're all standing up for you guys on a day-to-day basis. I mean, God and country is where I'm at and what I live for and why I'm here. And I'm a farmer, so again, standing up for what we need in this country and getting things done. Legislation that we've been working on this year is great, moving forward, standing strong for veterans and making a difference. That's what we want to continue to do. This day is a great day to honor what we're doing and the accomplishments we made, and the governor and everyone, and General Hartsfield. It's exactly what we need to be doing, and we'll continue to do so. So I'll keep it short and sweet. Thank you very much.
All right, First Sergeant Raymond Melendez.
He told me he wanted to stand at the podium. He did not want to do his Walker. So I got your flank right here, sir.
Thank you, Governor. Welcome. I'm losing my voice and hearing all these people here. They didn't say anything about the paratroopers or the parachutists. They're born. The flyers. Okay. Welcome, Governor. Welcome to our lovely home we have here. And we appreciate all you have done for the veterans of Florida and the state of Florida. I noticed that I'm a transplant. And I hate to tell you this, from California. I appreciate the safe home that the people of Florida have given me. As a guy that was born during the Depression, you could probably understand how happy I am to be in this beautiful home for the state of We appreciate what the governor is doing for the veterans and for the state of Florida. I know that we'll process all the way. I hope to live to see it. Thank you very much.
Okay, Army Specialist Elmer Franklin. Where's he at? All right.
Good morning. My name is Elmer Franklin. I am the president of the council for the residents at this home. I do it with great pleasure. I have a lot of good friends here. Some time ago, I took a trip on an honor flight to Washington, D.C., and I've seen all the monuments and all that, and I appreciate the people that sent me on that trip. But one thing that amazed me was, as I was waiting at an airport, I've seen lots of young soldiers waiting to be boarded onto planes. Going where, I don't know. But I thought, that's the future of this country, is the future veterans. That the governor and all of our distinguished guests here have the veterans in mind, because these young people could be our sons, grandsons, relatives, and so keep up the good work for the future veterans, sir.
We will.
Also, while I was sitting out here in the waiting area, I learned some things. I learned there was a lady here. I don't see her right now, but she was getting up more veterans help for the ladies of the, and I think that it's a long time coming. We probably should have been doing that since World War II. They performed great jobs. They not only built the airplanes, but they flew them to their destinations. They sacrificed also, and I'm glad to see that they're finally getting their recognition. There's so many more things that I could say, but like we said, we're going to try to keep it short. I just want to thank you, Governor. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate everything you're doing for all veterans, present, future, and all. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. So I don't know who wants to be part. I'm going to sign the bills here in a minute, so if anyone wants to be part of that picture, I don't know who we've got. Are they going to stage some of the vets maybe? Do that, so we'll do that momentarily and get situated. Now, these guys did a great job speaking too, didn't they? Okay, all right, I'm gonna get over here.
Now you're good. All right, all right. Back up. Are you going to stand beside the governor? Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we'll get you guys back here. All right.
Come on back. Back up. Are you going to stand beside the governor? Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we'll get you guys back here. All right.
Come on back. Back right here beside him.
5th or the 6th?
6.
6th. So that one's in the books. All right. Would you like a pen? You want a pen?
Thank you.
Who else? Yeah, give them one. Okay. So there's that one. Do we have any youth in attendance today?
There's one right out
Oh,
there.
you're not. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like.
Get that young lady right there.
Well, the reason I ask is because, you know, we would hand out these pens on these bill signings and they're permanent marker, and the little kids would draft. So I do have non-permanent marker.
Oh, there's one right there, brother. Right there. All right. Yeah.
All right. This one is the DVA bill. All right. So who wants one of these? Anyone else? All right, who wants these pens? Anybody? All right, anyone else? All right, I got 3 non-permanent peanut galleries. All right, anyone else?
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, all right.
All right, tell you what, can you hold one for us? Can you hold that up? We're gonna do a photo.
That'd be great. Yeah. And we'll get one right here.
Hold it up there.
There you go.
All right, guys, there
There
it
you go.
is. All right, let's get
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Be careful.
I'm actually with the legal discussion. Thanks for your, we were talking about our advancing. Great speech. Yes. Cross our fingers for